Hello, welcome to day two. I want to give your assignment for day two, which is, of course, a reading in NTI. It sounds like a lot because you're going to read NTI Matthew chapters 1 through 4, except that each of those first chapters are extremely short. In fact, if you open up NTI to page 11, you'll see NTI Matthew chapter 1 and chapter 2 right there. Each one is very, very short. And page 12 is chapter 3 and then chapter 4, also very, very short. So it's really only about a page of reading. The assignment as you read these 4 chapters is to look for what's important in each chapter for you and to write one sentence that captures what was important for you in the chapter. So for example, you'll read NTI Matthew chapter 1, which is 2 paragraphs. You'll look within what was in these 2 paragraphs that's important for me, and you'll write one sentence, not 2, one sentence that captures that. And then you'll go to Matthew chapter 2, you'll read it, ask within what was here that's important for me, write one sentence. And then the same thing with chapter 3 and the same thing with chapter 4. So when you finish your reading today, you will have 4 sentences written down that really capture what was most important for you in those first 4 chapters of NTI Matthew. And then tomorrow during the day, whenever it's convenient for you at 2 different times, you will take a break from what you're doing and review those 4 sentences. And that's it. That's your first assignment. The assignments when we first begin NTI are going to seem quite simple, and some people might even think they're useless. But I want to give you an analogy. I don't know if you have seen the Karate Kid, the one from the 1980s. In that particular movie, there was a young man. I believe he had moved from New Jersey to California. He was new. And when he arrived at his new school district in California, he became kind of the target of a group of bullies. And they knew karate. And so he felt like he needed to learn karate as well in order to defend himself against this group of bullies. The maintenance man in the apartment complex where he lived happened to be a karate master from Okinawa, Japan. And this maintenance man agreed to be his teacher. And so the student went to the teacher's house every day, excited to learn karate so he could defend himself against this group of bullies. But when he got there every day, the teacher asked him to do chores. He asked him to do things like paint his fence. He asked him to do things like wax his car. This went on for quite some time, and the young man began to get very frustrated because he wanted to learn karate, and the teacher hadn't taught him any karate at all. He taught him to paint the fence very specifically, how to paint the fence. He taught him to wax the car, wax on, wax off, very specifically how to wax the car, but he never taught him karate. And one day the student got very upset, started complaining that he wasn't learning any karate. And when he did this, the teacher threw a punch. And as he threw a punch, he yelled something like, wax on. And when he yelled, wax on, the kid naturally went like this, and it blocked the punch. And then he threw another punch, wax off, paint the fence, right? And what the kid didn't realize is while he was painting the fence and waxing the car, he was learning these basic karate moves. And in fact, you could say the muscle memory was learning these basic moves, which really gave him a head start on being a fine karate champion. Well, that's kind of what we're doing in about the first 50 days of our 500 days. The exercises are kind of like painting the fence and waxing the car. They are preparing you, or even more, preparing your mind so it's ready for the more advanced practices that are going to come later. So give yourself to these practices. Just as the student in Karate Kid needed to learn he couldn't wax the car this way, wax on, wax off, right? He had to do it just right. He had to paint the fence just right. My instructions are very specific. So please follow my instructions specifically. They won't take a lot of time, but they're very important. So today you're going to read the first 4 chapters of NTI Matthew. As you read each chapter, you will look what is in this chapter that's important for me. Write 1 sentence that captures that. Do that for each of the 4 chapters. You'll have 4 sentences. And then tomorrow, whenever it's convenient for you at 2 different times, take a break and review your 4 sentences. All right, and I will come back tomorrow with your next assignment. Enjoy day 2. See you tomorrow.